Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television and radio talk show where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. on the Eastern Time Zone as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. Continue sending email. It just makes my day. Donna at donnasedge.com. Donna at donnasedge.com. And you can also find us on television. We are syndicated on Abundant TV, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast on the newscasters.com. We are also very happy to be associated with the biggest country radio station, and that's in South Carolina, WZLA 92.9 FM on the dial. So again, thank you so much for watching. Got several things that we have in the pocket right now about to happen. So I can't tell you anything yet, but I'm so excited about we're broadening our horizon, and we're just really proud about that. I have Victoria Lee Scott with me right now. Victoria is a friend, and she is with the Newscasters Studio, which is also phenomenal. They are growing like gangbusters. I know what the secret is. People need a voice, and you're getting that voice out there, Victoria, and thank you so much for allowing us to be part of that.
It is absolutely a pleasure, and that's what it is. It is growing, and you're right. People do need a voice. And it's very interesting because we just did another, we just looked again, and Murray just sent me, our business developer, he just sent me 4 new studios that have come on. And I keep sending him people, and they keep filling out applications, and I just keep talking as far as what we have to offer and why. But I did find out the reason, which is very interesting. So many people have their own little platform, and during COVID, everybody went on Rumble or YouTube. But what they're finding now is they're all out there solo. And what we've built is a social media podcasting news network. And now we all work, just like I'm here on your show, and we're on different shows with each other. And that's what people are looking for. They not only want their voice out there, but they want their voice out there with people that are actually in the same wheelhouse as they are. Because, on YouTube, you've got so many, and yet, now we're bringing them into a company where we have cooking shows now. I think there's 3 sports channels, cooking shows. It's not just politics anymore, where in the beginning, that's what everybody really wanted to talk about, what was happening to our country. But now people are getting more comfortable with the newscasters, and it's spreading its little wings.
It sure is. And again, I'm proud to be part of that team. I think it's a great thing to be able to have a voice, because I'm just telling you, during the COVID years, I eventually wore it as a badge of honor, but I was kicked off of a lot of the social media sites. And so it's gotten better with President Trump that's in focus right now. You sent a video to me last night, and I'm just telling you, I was overwhelmed by this video. You want to talk about it for a couple of minutes, and then we'll let everybody else see it.
Yeah, well, in 2004, March 3rd in 2004, we were having dinner here at a local restaurant. Our daughter at the time was 6 years old. Her name is Justin Angel. She wanted to sit at a table. We were at a first high top. They have street side, inside a gate, but on the sidewalk. And then they're high top tables. So we sat at a high top table, and she wanted to have her little dinner right there at her own little table, of course. So they did. They gave her spot. And we left there that night, and about 4 o'clock in the morning, my daughter came by me, and something wasn't right. And I thought she was just sick from the food, throwing up and this and that, but that's not what the case was. My daughter that night had contracted meningococcemia, which is, nobody ever really even heard of the word. The hospitals never even treated a case of meningococcemia. It's a deadly bacterial infection. There are only 3,000 cases in the world a year. It kills in 6 hours. She is the sole survivor with no amputations and no brain damage. It has no respect for the brain. How my daughter contracted this that night with a 10% chance of living was beyond me, beyond anything I could ever imagine. And I remember Dr. Garrett telling me that she had a 10% chance, talking to Lawrence and I, her dad. And I looked and I said, I don't know what happened here or why, But that's my daughter in there, just an angel, and she's not going anywhere. You're going to do the doctor thing. I'm going to do the mommy and daddy thing. And that child is not going anywhere. She spent 5 months in that hospital on life support, hyperbaric chambers, dialysis, the whole bit. And she did survive. And she auto amputated a couple of toes. And she was, for 14 years, I kept her healthy. She was debrided every day, and they had a just the blood. What happens, it becomes toxic, and the blood wants out. So it goes to wherever the bone is close to the skin. So the knees, the heels, the toes, the elbows. And every day it would come up black. So every day she was put in a whirlpool, and then literally with tweezers, they would peel and debride it and then xeroform and wrap each of the scarring. So she wound up for 14 years being very healthy. And that video that you're going to show, during that time, I had always been a believer that someday Lisa Marie Presley was going to do music. Don't ask me how I knew. Ever since she was a little girl, I just knew she was going to do music. And as you know, you never heard much about her through her years, just little snippets here and there. But she had released her CD while my daughter was in the hospital. And that was the only music I would listen to. And there were songs on there that she wrote to her children. And I just knew one day I would be in front of her. I always knew that. And her CD release party, Just an Angel, was out of the hospital. She was only in 2nd grade at the time. And she turned 7 while she was in the hospital. And then I went to the CD release party, just happened to be at a Best Buy in Irvine, right here. And I said, I'm going. And I went. And her bodyguard came up to me because Just an Angel, she was little, just sat at my feet, right as I was at the front ropes. I was like right in front of her. And he came up and he said, would you mind doing a piece for HBO, Inside Out with Lisa Marie? And I said, I would love to. So he just pulled us aside. And actually, one of my hairdressers was with me, and she tried to go with me, and he stopped her. He said, no, we just want them. So I sat there until she was finished. And then when I walked up to her, that's the clip that you're seeing, is when I walked up and spoke with her. But it was just something. And she took a T-shirt that I have today. And it's funny because all of my friends have always teased me like, oh, Victoria, you're just awesome. On the T-shirt, Lisa Marie, I have it in the drawer here. Lisa Marie, to Victoria and Just an Angel, you're awesome. Love, Lisa Marie. And I was just like, I can't even believe she wrote that. But, and that's the clip that came up. So one of my friends had seen it yesterday, and she sent it. And I don't know how. I was sending it to my brother, but you were right under him, and it went to you also. So that's the reason I didn't really realize that we'd be talking about it. But it was just how wonderful, or how blessed is it? My thoughts about this woman, and then for my only daughter to meet Elvis Presley's only child, out of all the people and the followers that man and people in the lives that he touched, it was just a blessing to me, an absolute blessing. And even when she passed, my artist friend came to the salon, and he has it, it's hanging in my salon now, and he drew a picture of Lisa in the clouds with the gates in front of her. And he brought that to me. And, it's just somebody that you would never know, but was able to touch my life the way she did. Mm-hmm. Her music to me. And the interesting thing is, I was with my daughter recently and her boyfriend, and we went out to dinner. And in the car, she's playing Lisa's CD. I'm like, Lisa's music. I'm like, are you kidding me? So she took the CD that she had and she downloaded it so she could put it in the car. But she didn't do it for me. It's just something that she chooses to listen to, mm-hmm. which is very inspiring.
Let's go ahead This is you guys are going to be fascinated by this. So we'll put it on right now.
Here we go, Easter Sunday, Justin Angel contracted meningococcemia. It's a disease that affects 3,000 people in the world a year. They told me she had 6 hours till she was on life support. She had a 20% chance of living. I said, that is Justin Angel in there. She's not going anywhere. Your music to your children is what I played every day when I had to leave that hospital and I had never spent the night away from my daughter. Your music has given me the strength to be everything that I am. If you ever once wonder, is it worth it? Take it from this mother to that mother. That my daughter is alive, and I knew one day I would be standing right here with you. And it is my daughter's life that I want to say thank you for.
God, thank you so much.
Your music.
Shake your hand, please.
Her name is Justin
That was
Angel.
really good. You got through that. I'm really proud of you.
I could see Lisa holding back tears, you know, and I talked to her about it afterwards, and she's like, I had to keep it together because that was, you know, that was something else.
1, 2, 3.
That's amazing.
You know what was so interesting about that? There was a more of a clip that's not there, but that went on. At the time, Lisa was doing her CD release interviews. And every interviewer that interviewed her did not talk about her music. They wanted to talk about Michael Jackson, Nicolas Cage. They really didn't spotlight what she was doing. And I think that's why it hit her, because at the time, she was at the end of doing interviews and release. You know, it wasn't going the way. They weren't really recognizing her talent. And then it was such an honor, which I didn't realize until later, that I was the one person that told her it was her music. Because she was ready to at the time, she was just done with the silly interviews about everything but her music. So I find that to be an absolute treasure. I mean, I don't know, to this day, I still wonder when I listen to her music, still wonder, like, my goodness, my Lord, you made something. What was so, I could cry now, what was so hard for me with my daughter. You gave me this hope, and this, not just hope, but this experience that was just beyond anything that, you know, it was so moving to me, as it is still, thinking of her not here today, you know, and the life. She was just an interesting woman. You know, she loved her children. But she was put in a position, you know, as Elvis's only child. And it really, it really made the pattern continue from her father, you know, the drug addiction and all of that. And once, Lisa never came back once her son committed suicide. That she was done. I went on to talk to Michael that night, who is the father of the twins. And I met Riley at one of her concerts. But her oldest daughter now, I am so very proud of Riley. She has really held that family together. She has really stepped up. Elvis would be so very proud of his granddaughter today in what she is doing. She became the mother. She was always very close to the twins. But she has really, it makes me so proud to know that the family that Lisa wanted more than anything is what Riley has really created and kept together through all the tragedies. But she's a different breed, her daughter today. And I'm so proud of what Riley does, you know, and it's,
well,
you know,
Sally Gentry is the daughter of Teddy Gentry of the group Alabama. And sometimes, you know, people put them in a category they're not in. They're human beings just like we are. And so Sally, I found out she was a songwriter. So I had her come on the show several times. And she couldn't believe it because I never mentioned the group. I never mentioned Teddy Gentry. I never mentioned the group Alabama. And I gave her her own grandstand. And I'm going to tell you, she's quite the songwriter. I mean, she has written several, and she said, it just gets in my head. And she said, I have to get down. I have to just write all this thing. She has written thousands of poems, thousands of songs. I mean, just all kinds of things. And it has nothing to do with her dad. I think if her dad had been the trash man that picks up trash every day, she would have still been a very successful person. And I think the same thing with Lisa Marie Presley too. I don't think it would have mattered who the dad was.
Yeah, and just as a person, I mean, I also do, I also have a few people that are in my, that I cut their hair. Vicki Lawrence is her husband and son have been clients of mine for many years. And it was very interesting because when Big Al passed away, he actually met Vicki. He was her makeup artist. So when he passed away, of course, they asked me to speak because I would actually, when Big Al got sick, I would go to the house and do his hair and all of that. And it was so interesting because when they asked me to speak, the first thing I said to him, I got up and I'm looking at Vicki, is like, oh my gosh, Vicki Lawrence, how do I begin this? But I turned around, I get up and I said, hi, I'm the woman that has had her hands in Big Al's hair for the last 25 years. And Vicki you could just see that, it was about Big Al, but you could just see the laughter and you just heard, it was, people, that's what they want, even though they're in the spotlight of those that are, it's very hard for them to find their own space in life. It is not easy, especially with musicians. And when music, is my music ever is going to be compared to my father's, I'll never be that big. But I give Lisa so much credit that when she was ready, she did it. And what she produced in her music, all I know is from this mom to that mom, it changed my life. It kept me going. It kept me knowing that when the only reason I left the hospital was to go and shower. And when I left and play that music, I just knew there was a comfort there. And it was a blessing that I was able to have the gift to be able to tell her that, especially when nobody really was paying attention to her music. Right. They all wanted to talk about her father, or they wanted to talk about Michael, or they wanted to talk about Nicholas, but they always took the spotlight off what she was accomplishing. So I think it had a lot to do with her early life ending. Being trapped in that. And that's really a shame.
I thought she was trapped too. We're going to have to go into a commercial break. The show was growing
already.
We've had a lot of new sponsors, so I'm going to have to take 2 breaks instead of just 1 break. But we'll be right back. That's a good problem to have.
Queen City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for 2 or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant.
Good afternoon. afternoon. We are back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Television and Radio and Podcast Talk Show. Again, thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. on the Eastern Time Zone, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. Wanted to thank some of our new sponsors. We just got a brand new one yesterday. And Victoria, you're going to love the name of this business, okay? They're located in the Anderson Mall in Anderson, South Carolina. The name of the business is Kiss My Glass. I love that name. And they're brand new. And what they do is they do stained glass, beautiful ornaments. She can do stained glass windows. This woman is an artist. And I'm just so excited. We're working on the commercial right now, and I can hardly wait to do that. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Wanted to also mention the Eggs Up Grill. They're growing like gangbusters. So I spoke with their manager there in the store day before yesterday. And I said, I've heard you guys are going to open up 100 stores this coming year, 100 restaurants this coming year. And he said, yeah. He said, we're doing really good. And then I said, I've noticed something up on the counter, and it's called the egg counter. I said, so it's over like 500,000 eggs. Is that just this store? He said, just this store has cracked open, and they crack their own eggs, by the way. So the eggs come in on a crate. And so they're not using powder, nothing like that, nothing frozen. It's all fresh eggs from local farms, by the way. And so what they'll do is as they crack an egg, they run tally on those eggs. Over 500,000 eggs in one restaurant. It blows my mind. But go check them out. They only serve lunch. They serve breakfast and lunch. And you can have breakfast for lunch if you'd like. My son loves breakfast at lunch. So anyway, it's a great place. And also the honey baked ham. And I wanted to mention the honey baked ham because Christmas is right around the corner. You need to go ahead and get those orders in. And also a lot of folks order these honey baked hams for New Year's. So go ahead and get that order in just to make sure you get your ham. I don't think you're going to be surprised at all. I was listening to one of their consultants, and he was talking about how honey baked ham started. And it actually started one man out of Michigan. And so he was making hams for people in the community, and people were talking about that. Said, you need to open up your own restaurant because these are amazing. And what he does is the ham bakes for a few hours, and then he actually uses a blowtorch, or that's how he started it, was using a blowtorch for the glaze after the ham was done. And man, what a way to bake a ham. But now nobody can try it on your own. You'll never make it taste like honey baked ham. It just won't ever do that. But anyway, we're so proud to be with you guys. I'm also proud to be with my friend Victoria Lee Scott, and she is with the Newscasters Studio, which I would be a fan. I would just, if my show was not on the Newscaster Studio, I would still listen to the podcast. And you can actually have visuals too. There are folks who can't, like me, I have a hard time explaining a visual on the radio. But now if I've got the widget with me, well, then I can show it to you on the air. So
it's very interesting because when I take people, I have a lot of interviewers that come on that fill out the apply page. And then I take them around the whole studio and show them what we're doing and how we're doing it and how we've grown. And it's very interesting because I first take them to my show and I do audio to show them the banners that we're able to put above their show for authors of books. And that's their, that all the different ways that they can put their content into. But then I always take them to your show. And I said, you got to see how this one's doing it. I said, I got to show you. So it's so interesting because we're getting such great response for people that really want to, to be out there and have some quality things to say and to share. And not only that, but we're finally in that sponsor mode like you are. And it's wonderful when people understand that our job is to help them, is to spotlight what they're doing as a community to grow together. I think everybody's just tired of doing everything solo. It is so nice. I sat here as you were just talking, saying how wonderful it is that you now have all these people who support what you do, and therefore we support what they do. What a wonderful gift that is. I mean, what you and I are able to do now, Donna, this was internet radio at one time, and you and I have been pioneers. We didn't have a shot in anything to be on any mainstream media or news or, or anything like that was on the television. And today, look what we get to do. I mean, I was actually put in, it was interesting. I actually put in for a couple of things that I wanted to do locally. It was, I was sent an invite to a women's conference. And then I went in and I said, oh, I would love to, I'd love to come in and check out what you guys are doing. An email was sent back that you have to join. And I said, no, I said, I just want, or go as a guest. And I said, no, I'd like to come and try it as a guest. Well, I went in as a guest and they wanted me to pay for it. So I turned around and I said, I'm not paying for something you invited me into. And even as a guest, you want me to pay for that. I said, I'm sorry.
Why would you do that?
And that's what I said. And I wrote an email back that I'm sorry. I said, I get paid to speak. I'm not coming to your event as a guest and paying for paying to come as a guest.
Yeah.
So it was funny because last night I got a text back from her because I sent her blatantly like, thank you, but no thank you. Mm-hmm. And there's a text back that they really want to talk, would like to speak with me again. And not only that, but it's just so interesting how technology, I don't know if you realize this, so I have gotten into this, but it's gotten a little bit ahead of itself and we're losing some of that one-on-one. Yeah. And even though they make things very interesting, and it's easy to just, set this, do that, do this, it's kind of losing that personal touch. And I think we're getting a lot of podcasters on the Newscasters Studio is because I personally set appointment with them. And I say, I want you at your laptop. I want you to pull up the network and I have the network up and I want to show you around. I want to show you what we're doing. And by the time I finish, when I ask them, do you have any questions? They all laugh and chuckle and say, no, I think you've answered them all. And there are ones that I've spoken to who were going to be guests on the show, and I've shown them around the studio, and they filled out the apply page. So it's like, no, I want to do this. So what it is, it's just time to bring our voices back, such as what you're doing. Talking. It's nice that you shared the story with the honey baked ham, and and that's what we want. We want to bring back a little bit of, I know we'll never be able to go back and do business on a handshake, but I want that kind of mentality where we can start trusting those, because there is so many we can trust. Mm-hmm. That it's wonderful when you said, and you went in and you got the story with the egg counter. So if you would have just sent him an email offering a spot, you would have never had that little tidbit. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I think people are craving today. I think they really want not only to just be recognized, but to be a part of something. Mm-hmm. That's pretty important to me. So the Newscasters Studio stands real strong on bringing back, that little, that personal touch.
Well, y'all have talk show hosts from all over the world now.
Actually, beyond the world. We actually now have our first international podcaster. We have Sylvia Davis, who is in Paris, France. And boy, does she share we don't really get any of that news, that people really don't know. And there's a lot going on in Germany and France, and the world is changing. And yet here, we're getting ridiculous news items. We're not getting what's happening around the world unless you start really searching for it. Mm-hmm. So it's really a blessing to be in one place where people can start talking about anything, as long as people stand by journalistic ethics and are able to, bring something to the table. The Newscasters Studio is an open book, and it's been great, watching, sports channels grow. I have one guy who was on a regular news show, and he did the sports, and he's like, no, I want to do this. And now he's got Let's Get Terrific, and he talks sports and interviews. I think what's happening in that personal realm, Donna, is that, you know, when you're a guest on a news show, you've got like what, 90 seconds, a minute and a half. That's about all you get. So it's good because what you and I are able to do is we're able to sit with people for an hour, half hour, 45 minutes, and really get to the meat of different things and to promote different things for them. So it's a big plus.
You know, I think people are we're just fed up with stuff. We're fed up with people being fed out of the trough. And what I mean by that is you have to liberal media. I mean, they're sent one memo and they all say the same thing over and over and over again. People want different things to listen to. They want different things to talk about. I'll tell you somebody that's really, and I think he should be a president of the United States, and that's John Kennedy, senator out of Louisiana. I love that man. He speaks it like it is. I'm just telling you, just like Trump, he is. And that's what attracted me so much to Trump. And so many people, when Trump came out on the stage, they were like, well, he's so rude. He's so this. And I didn't think he was rude at all. He was just speaking the truth. He makes a lot of people think of their dad. He makes me think of my dad. My dad was he's a businessman and in the trades, businessman in the trades. So he started out in the trades, you know, and he would always start at the lowest position the company had. And he did it on purpose, so that he could know the company. If you start out at the bottom, then you're going to know all the grassroots stuff. You know what I mean? So Trump had the experience of construction, dealing with construction workers, dealing with all this stuff, and he made his kids do the same thing. You know, I've heard his kids all talk about, we didn't get any special privileges just because we were Donald J. Trump's son or daughter. And so they had to start out just like he did. And I think it's so important that you from all sides of the arena. And then again, that's what I love about John Kennedy out of Louisiana. He speaks it in that Southern tone he's got. I just love it. I just love it.
Well, one of the things with Donald Trump that was early on in building the Newscasters Studio, I remember listening very many years ago to Donald Trump. Sorry. And my day has already begun. And I remember listening to him, and he said, because I'm a New Yorker, so I have that kind of, you know, straight to the point kind of attitude that Donald Trump does. It's just a New York thing. I don't know. So he's in an interview, and what happened at the time is nobody could get that ice skating rink in Rockefeller Center done. The city couldn't do it, and everybody, you know, so Donald Trump set in, and he came in under budget and under time and had it built. And when they asked him, like, how did you do it? That was the key for me. And he turned around and he said, I don't know how to build an ice skating rink. So I found people that do. And that's what the Newscasters Studio is like, wait a minute, I might not know how to do this, but I'm going to find and learn from those that do. And here we are today. But that was a very big, you know, a very big, clear thing for me to say, so I don't have to know it all. And that's what I try to tell with the new podcasters. It's like, well, I don't know how to do this. And I said, well, that's my job. My job is to show you that you can do it. We're doing it. You're able to do it. And, you know, but John Kennedy is one of, there are a few right now that are sitting in our Congress that really get to the point. I mean, Josh Hawley is another one. I mean, we need to hold people accountable. And that's, you know, and that's what Donald Trump does, back to the point, what you were saying. He holds them. And even when he's in that interview, do you see last one where she kept trying to interview, well, I have a question. He's like, I didn't call on you. You're obnoxious. That's the New Yorker in us.
No, I mean, it's not just New Yorkers either. I mean, I'm from Alabama. My dad was very much like that. I'll give you an example about Dad. Yeah. Okay, so there was a guy, I didn't really particularly like him. It's just that he had really long hair. Oh, his hair was beautiful. I would have loved his hair. It was long and beautiful. It was shiny and all this, and they kept it pulled back in a ponytail. Well, see, my dad being the minister, okay, so a guy had to meet with him first. I mean, and then he had to sit and look at him, and Dad asked him like 10,000 questions. And to me, it was so rude. I was like, why do you have to be that way? Why do you have to be so? So he wouldn't even let this guy in. The guy comes to the door, knocks at the door, and he's scared to death. He'd already heard other guys talk about how evil Dad was, you know, just mean, you know, like to the point, like, you know, like people say Trump is. So Dad just crossed his arms like this and went, That's all he said. And I'm embarrassed to death. I'm going, I can't believe he's doing this. So anyway, Dad goes, get your hair cut and I might let you date my daughter. And he just shuts the door on him. And then, of course, he goes back and talks about how rude he is. And he said, you don't like him, do you? Really? Do you like him? And I said, you don't like long hair. That's the only reason. So I won't let him go over. The guy was pretty, you know what I mean? He was Fabio type. He was like, he was one of those. So I didn't really care for him. I just thought it would be a good way to tick Dad off. And my point is Dad was rude to him, but he spoke the point. He spoke, that's exactly how we thought. And, he didn't, and I'm beginning to get to be the same way, Victoria. The older I get, the less I want to mince words. I mean, that's just simply say what I've got on my mind. Just let it be at that. Speaking of which, we've got to go into another commercial break. Can you believe that? We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Yeah, I'm from Alabama. You're from New York. Same thing.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Asked Phil on the commercial break. I said, and I got to make this point. I mean, Phil was the only guy Dad didn't like try to ruin. You know what I mean? To get him out of the house, and which made me wonder. I was like, "What's wrong with Phil? I'm not seeing anything wrong with him. There must be something wrong that I'm not seeing if Dad actually likes him." I mean, you know. So, but anyway, it all worked out. So, something wrong with Phil that I'm just not seeing yet. But anyway, it all worked out. And what some people think is rude is not rude. They're just speaking the truth. And when Trump was just, I mean, he was talking about Hillary Clinton one time, called her lying Hillary. And then, of course, the left really was going nuts, you know, talking about how rude he is, you know, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm just, a bunch of us, my friends, we were saying, he's just saying what the rest of us think.
Well, that's what we need right now, Donna. I mean, first off, I love that Donald Trump has said, if you weren't born on this soil, you shouldn't be sitting in a seat in the Senate or Congress. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That was an interesting tidbit, but I agree. And we're talking about, I mean, look at Minnesota. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. You have talked to a woman who came into Congress with $62,000. She now is worth $30 million. Are you kidding me?
Let me think about that. How is that possible?
How is that possible? Because you scammed everything. And then to sit there. No, they all need to be held accountable. The one I saw yesterday, Josh Hawley again was grilling her, I guess the Secretary of Energy. Mm-hmm. All right, I don't know if you saw that, but he's got her there and he's asking her as to, she went in front of the committee at one time, and when they asked her if she had any stock when she was being confirmed, if she had any of the stock in any of the energy companies, and she said no. Well, it comes out all these years, he's got her now, and he says, you lied to Congress, you lied to us because you did have stock. I didn't know I had the stock. Well, what other stock? I don't know. No, these are not answers. You know what? And and therefore I am of the schooling of this. If you sit in front of Congress and you tell Congress that you don't know, then my next thing to you is, okay, who do you answer to? Because I'm going after them.
Perfect.
So if you don't know, I want to know, who do you answer to? So now I'll go after them, and I'll keep going until somebody is held accountable. I watched the same thing with Boeing, the president of Boeing. How dare you sit there and make $430 million in 1 year and your planes are falling out of the sky? Are you kidding me? No, I am all about accountability. And that's what we need. We need people like Senator Kennedy. I love his little roundabout way, well, let me ask you this. And he gets to the point. And I like when they're held accountable. And I loved it when he was interviewed. We do. What's that? That's what we do.
He was interviewing this woman, and this woman was bashing men. I mean, she's like a man hater and all this kind of stuff. And so he just looked over at her and he just asked her, he said, so then you must have a problem with men dressing up like women, playing in women's sports. She never answered that. And I don't get it either. If you're a woman, you're a woman's liver and all this kind of stuff. And I think women should have rights too. But women as a whole have been put back 100 years now because of all this nonsense. Okay, you've got a boy dressing because he's a loser on a man's team. So he decides he wants to be a girl. Okay, so he wants to compete. I mean, I'm saying it like it is. So he wants to compete in a women's team. Why are the parents not revolting against all of this? Because you know what it's like. You've got a daughter, and she's probably been on every sports team there is. It costs money for the training. It costs money for their uniforms. It costs money for just them competing. It costs a lot of money. You got to go to hotel rooms. You got all this stuff you've got to do. You got to pay for food when you go out of town. So I don't understand why parents aren't just riding to the limit on this. It's just like, so my daughter is competing with men. Of course, the man's going to win. The boy is going to win. It's just the way it is.
Well, we have allowed that to really permeate throughout everything. I mean, it's so funny because I see a picture of Pete Hegseth, and then they have the other two, the Admiral and the other one. And it's like, whose one do you want protecting you? You know, to sit here with Admiral Levine and to sit here and you are an admiral in a woman's skirt and dress, and then the other one who's stealing designer clothes in an airport suitcase. I mean, and then you have the nerve to wear it. You should have just pranced around your house in it. But to be caught wearing something, how much more stupider can you be? But the point is, you and I have been doing this a long time. And what happens is they started slowly chipping away And until we got to where we're at with the Biden, I am really glad the pendulum is swinging back, to be honest with you, because I think the course that we were on, I have a 28-year-old, and what she has been in the classrooms the last few years of her high school. And, even that one girl who wrote about and stood up for her religion, and then she wound up getting a 0 on her paper because her professor didn't like. But we also knew in Saul Alinsky's books, Rules for Radical, that was the thesis that Hillary Clinton did. They also, tell them, keep pushing until you break through to the other side. But what happened is that book really wasn't meant for the left. They just picked it up as their handbook. It was actually meant for anybody who wanted to radicalize against the government itself. But what happened is so many people got so involved in their own lives and doing, it was about the me, what I can do, me, that we have allowed this. And I've been saying this for a long time. The reason what happened in our country is because they started destroying our country at the mayoral level. Do you remember how many shows that we were talking about, how there was civil unrest in the streets? Because it's at the mayoral level that they start destroying it. And once they get to that, there were people that put in positions, let's face it, for the last decade, there are people that have gained positions in our government that never earned them, that didn't belong there. And today, when it comes about to do it, to problem solve, they don't have the skills to do it. And that's what we're witnessing now. So we, they all rode high on the hog, and everybody says, well, here's a lot of money. Just do this, 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 and this. Here's a lot of money. Just say this, this, this. And they all did it as what you were talking about. I saw a clip where they had all these different newscasters in one, and they're all parroting this same exact line. If you can't see that clear as a bell, it's like, no matter, and to have 20 of them in one little box all over, and they're all saying the same exact thing. It's like, no, you're being told, we're being led, like you said, we're being hand-fed, hand-picked. And that's what I'm so proud of, Senator Kenny. And there are quite a few that are doing it now, that are really holding people accountable, because it's got to change back. We have people sitting in those congressional seats that do not belong there. And that's, you cannot take the oath of the United States on the Quran. I'm sorry, it's not.
That was a simple question. Okay, simple to Donna here. Okay, even I get this. Okay, so if you're a radical Islam, okay, Muslim, you're radical. Now let me say this to clarify it. I do have some acquaintances who are Muslim, but they're not radical. Okay, they're not like, let's kill the infidels like us,
Right.
Okay, for someone who is radical, okay, do they really need to be holding anything within the U.S. government? Because if we're considered the infidels, wouldn't there, and they're radical here, okay? So if we are like infidels, and we all need to die because we are infidels, should they have any kind of authority whatsoever? I mean, I'm just being, okay, remember Fort Hood? This was a Muslim guy who killed all these people at Fort Hood. They kept that under wraps. They kept that under wraps. People like that, just a time bomb about to go off at any time. So if you've got them in Congress, you got them in the Senate. Is that a wise thing? I'm just wondering.
Absolutely not. And if you start listening to Ilion, she's in there speaking her language to an incredible room.
Her brother, by the way. Yeah.
I know. I mean, she's been married 3 times and whatnot, but and speaking to a room, telling them how we're going to destroy America. I'm like, wait a minute, what? I don't understand this whole thing. I really like that Donald Trump said, if you weren't born on American soil, you shouldn't be holding an American seat. That's I'm with you 100%. Start cleaning house. There are a lot of people that can, and it's hard because we've allowed the Clintons and the Obamas to really put a foothold in this country to change the course of our country's history. And right now, we do have a chance with Donald J. Trump. We do have a chance with the people he has put in positions. But, you know, it's so hard at this point now because what they're doing is they're defending what they're doing instead of being able to do what they're put in a position to do. So this isn't about people not liking Donald Trump's policies. This is about people just not liking Donald Trump. And you can't, that's not going to work anymore. You know, it's not going to work. And we have clients in my hair salon. I'm in Long Beach, California, sanctuary city. So trust me, I've only had in all of my years, I've only had one client with Trump derangement syndrome. She actually left with color on her hair. Okay. I did everything. And I said, Lisa, first off, she asked me the question. I have the news on one TV and the music on in another. So in the reception area is the TV, and she looks over and Donald Trump was talking. And she said, what do you think of the job he's doing? She should have never opened that can of worms, okay? Because they all know my stance. I got a little Donald Trump duck on my stage. You know, everybody knows my book. They know my politics. I mean, it's clear. So I've owned the salon last month, 30 years. They know. So she said, what do you think of the job? And I turned around and I said, I think he's doing a fantastic job. Keep doing what he's doing. And then she just lost it on me, where I kneeled down to the chair where she was. And I'm like, Lisa, we can't do this. You don't understand. I hate him. And I'm like, no, I do understand. So she's like, I just want to leave. And I'm like, no, listen, I'm going to go sit in the back. I said, when your bell goes off, I'll take your color off. I'll do your hair and I won't say another word to you. We're done. I won't say another word. Mm-hmm. She wouldn't even put up with that. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Do you not understand? And she literally ripped her cape off and left with the color on her hair. Well, that afternoon, I felt
that. If someone got color on their hair, isn't it timed? I mean, is their hair going to fall out? I mean, what happens if she leaves with the color on her hair?
She left with it. And to top it all off, I went to the flower store and I got a beautiful pink orchid and I left it on her doorstep because I thought it was I liked her. She'd been a client for years. We don't have to talk politics. Let's, we talk about our children. You've been coming to me for how long? But then, and recently we just lost the former mayor from Long Beach. He passed. Bob's been my client for many years. He just passed away last Monday. So Bob was in my chair during the day of the debate with Trump and Biden. And I turn around to Bob and I'm standing behind him and I turn around. There's a former mayor of Sanctuary City. And I'm cutting Bob's hair and I'm like, be careful. I always tell them, be very careful with your answer. I have a sharp object next to your neck. But I turn around to Bob. I look in the mirror and I say, Bob, let me ask you a question. I said, if it shows tonight that Biden is incapable of holding that office, what are the Democrats going to do? Well, Mr. Mayor threw up his hands and said, I effing hate Trump. And I walked from behind my chair and I faced him face to face. And I looked at him and I said, that's not the question I asked you. And you're sitting here and it just shows me that it has nothing to do with what he's doing or what they're doing. It has to do with this hatred. This hatred, even my other hairdresser yesterday or the day before yesterday, she was asking her clients are all how they hate Donald Trump. And she literally asks them now because she's learned from me, which she would never say anything. But lately she has. And she literally asked them, like, what is he doing that you don't like? I mean, everything he's doing this term since January in the last year. What is it that you don't like that Donald Trump is doing? They can't answer her.
You don't like success, maybe? I mean, is that the problem?
And it was very interesting for her to share with me. She goes, no, I asked them now, what is it you're not liking that he's doing? But it has more to do with, I don't know where such hatred has come in. But it's
somebody that much. I just don't get it. Like Rosie O'Donnell, this woman's driving herself nuts. Well, she was already nuts to begin with, but this woman is a lunatic. I mean, she's moved away. Okay, this is what you do. Okay, like if, let's say you divorce somebody, let it go. Let them go to the wayside and you just be successful. If you don't like someone, say your spiel, let it go, but just don't keep on and on, because I'm tired of hearing about this from Rosie O'Donnell. She's left the country to get away from him, but really he's still in her head. He's still
yes, but what's even interesting with Rosie O'Donnell is the government of Ireland, because that's where she moved to. She's not from Ireland. Her family's Welsh.
Uh-huh.
So she don't know what she's going to do. And the other one is Ellen DeGeneres and her wife. They're trying to head back here now. And that's the interesting.
Stay. Go. Scoot.
So they all want to come back now. They're trying. I guarantee you, Rosie will be back and Ellen DeGeneres is back. They sold their house where they were. And they sold their little country estate. And Rosie O'Donnell's like, she's not, because the Irish government said, no, you're not from Ireland. Your roots are not Irish. So, yeah.
So people just don't think these things out.
You just nailed it.
You just got to have logic about yourself. I mean, it's just plain old common horse sense is what we say from the South. But common horse sense will get you a long way. I mean, it really will.
But that's what we're seeing.
My dog, okay, he loves us, but he hates everybody else for some reason. I don't know what his problem is. So anyway, even my dog knows what the electric fence guideline is. He knows how far he can go. A dog can be taught that. A chicken, okay, so we have a farm. We have chickens on the farm. We get eggs every single day. Even the chickens know when we're coming to feed them. They're so grateful. They'll walk up to us like they're dogs. I even have one now that wants to get on my shoulder. Even a chicken knows this is where my food comes from. I think I'll be nice.
What I can't figure out, though, Donna, is the level of anger. I mean, for some reason, liberal white women are angry. Ooh. And I mean, to the point of violence. And it's so interesting because there's also a young girl who goes to all of these flea markets to talk to people about what Trump is doing. And as soon as they see her coming, they just shut, don't talk to her, don't do this. And the amount, and she just, even the police try to remove her and she goes, no, you can't do that. This is a public space. I can do what I'm doing. But the amount of anger that is being, anybody that is promoting or wants to open up a dialogue, that's what I've been saying for years. When we lose the art of debate, we will be left with nothing but violence. And that's what I'm finding. What I'm finding is they have a position that they hate Donald Trump or they hate whatever they hate. But the thing is, when you try to have a dialogue with them as to what it is you hate or why do you hate it, they don't have an answer. That just like the mayor, when he threw his hands up and F-bombed me saying about Donald Trump, and I'm like, that's not what I asked you. I asked you what the Democratic plan is going to be if this man is found to be incapable of holding the office of president.
We're going to have to go. That was the timer right there.
Oh,
oh boy. Thank you guys so much for watching. You are the reason we do what we do. Continue sending email. I love them. Donna at donnasedge.com, Donna at donnasedge.com. And the Newscasters Studio. If you have a voice, whether you're a writer, you're a speaker, whatever you are, you've written books, you need to get in contact with Victoria so your voice can be heard. Absolutely. Okay, guys, we're going to have to go. Victoria, hang around so I can get you set up for next month.
Fantastic.
Oh, and thanks to Kiss My Glass for being with us. We appreciate it.